Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We are excited to welcome you to the first Industry 4.0 Virtual Demo Day. We will be starting at 10 a.m. GST. Stay tuned and grab yourself a cup of coffee while you wait.
This is an invitation to your future, where you can turn opportunity into innovation and innovation into long-term success. Where economic strength and stability provide business security. Where established infrastructure provides the foundation for success. Where open for business truly means open. And where happiness is matched only by ambition. This is Abu Dhabi, where every day is a reminder to create the next. This is an invitation to your future today.
There are those who look at life differently. They see what most don't. They do what most won't. They rethink old ways, making way for new ones. They restore and realize dreams, transforming what was to what could be. They redefine the words big and efficient, explore depths like never before. They revolutionize the rules of transport. They repurpose, recycle, remake, remodel, and rebuild the way the world trades. We call them the Reimagineers, the accelerators, the change makers. And for them, we are rewriting our story. For them, we are reimagining trade.
An interactive digital media platform, the Abu Dhabi SME Hub, brings the UAE's business ecosystem together via one focal point that supports enterprises of all stages, across topics and industries, using a variety of formats. Core streams empower entrepreneurs to explore news, opportunities, initiatives, and regulations that shape the local business environment. Learn best business practices through a series of engaging multi-format content. Connect with a wider business ecosystem, including governmental and other support entities, regulators, investors, mentors, and peers. Leverage content and resources, curated and co-created. Together with industry and educational partners, grow, thrive, and innovate in the UAE. Powered by the Khalifa Fund for Enterprise Development Initiative.
Now more than ever, innovative technologies are fueling change and sparking new ways of thinking. Collaboration between corporations and startups is key to staying at the forefront of these trends. However, finding the right startups can be expensive, time-consuming, and ineffective. But Plug and Play is here to help. As a corporate partner, you will gain access to a whole ecosystem of innovation. Discover startups that meet your tech interests. Stay updated on the latest trends and network with industry peers. We will help you during every stage of your innovation journey, no matter where you are and where you want to go. Get in touch today.
Good morning and good afternoon from wherever you are joining us from. My name is Hisham Akhtar, and I'm the Program Manager for Industry 4.0 with Plug and Play Abu Dhabi office. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to our first ever virtual demo day. In partnership with the Abu Dhabi Investment Office and our visionary corporate partners, Plug and Play Abu Dhabi launched the first of its kind open innovation platform in the region, focusing on collectively driving the fourth industrial revolution. The mission of the platform is to combine key stakeholders, thought leaders, and innovative world-class startups to influence the future of industry, which is exactly what we are doing with today's demo day. We have attendees from the Americas, Asia Pacific, Europe, and of course, MENA coming together to share key insights from their ecosystems. We have an exciting day lined up for you today with discussions by key industry leaders and innovative startups showcasing their visionary products. We will kick off the day with a welcome note from Plug and Play's founder and CEO, Saeed Amidi. Once the welcome notes are completed, we begin the journey into innovation with a fireside chat between Miriam Kiwan, Head of Strategic Partnerships at Abu Dhabi Global Markets, and Plug and Play's Germany Managing Director, Sasha Karimpour. Very excited for that one. Following that, we will jump into the first block of startup pitches by our fantastic Industry 4.0 cohort. After hearing about some of our innovative startups, we keep the momentum going with a fantastic panel discussion moderated by Lynn Schumann, Senior Editor, LinkedIn News, who will be joined by a panel of visionary leaders helping push forward the innovation agenda. From Abu Dhabi Ports Group, we have VP of Innovation, Iman Al-Khalaqi, Ibtisam Al-Saadi, Acting Industrial Development Department Director at Abu Dhabi Department of Economic Development, and Faisal Al-Hamadi, Assistant Undersecretary, Entrepreneurship and SMEs at the Ministry of Economy. We will then have our second block of startup pitches. Once done with the startup pitches, we will conclude the day with a networking session, so please make sure to stay until the end to meet some fantastic individuals and capitalize on the global nature of the event. Without further ado, let's kick the day off with Plug and Play's founder and CEO, Saeed Amidi. Off to you, Saeed.
Hello, I wanted to welcome all of you to our newest initiative in Abu Dhabi, Industrial 4.0. As you know, the whole industry is going through an incredible digital transformation, and we feel Industrial 4.0 will address some of the needs of all industries, including manufacturing, automation, mobility, IoT, and it's very much across industry. And as I just returned from Abu Dhabi and Middle East, I can say the whole region is super energized to create technology jobs through entrepreneurs and through the startup culture. Please join me as one of the leading industries that produces energy, distributes energy, the port, the airport, as well as all the other industries that are active in the region. We would like this innovation platform for Industrial 4.0 to serve everyone in their innovation journey. Thank you so much, and looking forward to meeting you both in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, and for sure, please come and visit us in California in our head office in Silicon Valley. Thank you.
Thank you for those wonderful words, Saeed. Indeed, the opportunity in the UAE and the GCC region for innovation and entrepreneurship is immense. Next up, we have the Fireside chat between Miriam Kiwan, Head of Strategic Partnerships at Abu Dhabi Global Markets, and Plug and Play's Germany Managing Director, Sasha Karimpour, on the topic of importing innovation or homegrown. What can we learn from the European ecosystem? Let's hear from two ecosystem building experts on what is the best way to push forward innovation.
Since its inception, Startup Autobahn has achieved many great successes. Over the course of 10 programs, 300 startups from 43 different countries have been accelerated, collaborating on over 400 POCs, pilot projects, and implementations, together with our 29 corporate partners. Each project, each partnership carries significance for the evolution of industry through open innovation and has produced real results. Europe is experiencing a gold rush of startup activities, and many corporations are now more reliant than ever on the agility and expertise of young tech companies to drive R&D activities within their businesses. However, it is important to remember that this was not always the case. Only a few years ago, for many corporates looking to collaborate with startups, Silicon Valley was the hub of scouting technologies, and it required frequent trips to California to find what they were looking for. This is where in 2016, the founding partners enter the story. For Mercedes-Benz, Plug and Play Tech Center, University of Stuttgart, and Arena 2036, The objective was to bring the two worlds, startup and corporates, together to create a reimagined format in Germany. They wanted to build a platform to attract startups from around the world to Stuttgart to develop an effective and efficient infrastructure for corporates to work with external tech experts in their own backyard. Today, Startup Autobahn has grown to become Europe's largest open innovation platform, connecting startups with industry-leading partners to pilot disruptive technologies and drive successful production-ready implementations. The platform has grown from the 4 founding partners to now 29 founding, anchor, and ecosystem partners, including 3 OEMs and numerous Tier 1 and Tier 2 suppliers, representing an entire mobility value chain. The Startup Autobahn platform has expanded its reach to include technologies shaping not only the future of mobility, but also production, enterprise, and sustainability, developing beyond borders.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today at Plug and Play Industry 4.0 Demo Day. Today's session will be titled Important Innovation or Homegrown and what we can learn from the European ecosystem. My name is Miriam Kiwan and I head strategic partnerships at Abu Dhabi Global Market, or ADGM. ADGM is the leading international financial center for Abu Dhabi. As a tech ecosystem enabler, we are proud to be the home of many leading regional fintechs as well as tech startups in the region. And joining me today, we have Sasha Karimpour, who's the Managing Director for Plug and Play Germany. Sasha, good to have you with us today. How are you?
Thank you so much, Miriam. Doing great and pleasure to be in this fireside chat and joining the Plug and Play Expo Day Batch 0 for Industry 4.0.
Fantastic. I'm very much looking forward to our conversation today. Just for the benefit of viewers who may not know you, could you please give us a little bit of background about yourself and the work that you're doing with Plug and Play?
Okay, so personally, I've been with the company Plug and Play for almost the past 7 years. Prior to that, I helped a traditional German mid-sized company to open offices in the US and ran it for 11 years. Prior to that, I did work with 3 startups, all e-commerce platforms in Silicon Valley, B2B, B2C. And yeah, so that's my brief history. I'm German, but I spent 22 years of my life in the US.
Great, thanks for that. Look, essentially, I'd love to dive into sort of the topic of today. I know that Plug and Play has done a phenomenal job in Germany building a global hub for mobility in Stuttgart. Can you tell us a little bit about that sort of development? You know, what were the objectives? Why was it started as a program? What were the objectives then? And what has been achieved so far?
Yeah, great question, Miriam. Thank you. And it's a good question because Plug and Play, we are existing since about 15 years plus now, and had very few international locations until about 6 years ago, 6.5 years ago, when we opened offices here in Stuttgart. Prior to that, we had some offices in also Singapore, in Mexico, in Brazil, also actually in Berlin, Germany, but mostly focused on investment or very early stage startup help. And we kind of brought this idea of open innovation here to Germany on the focus mobility and also Industry 4.0 and enterprise topics. And then also another platform we started about 6.5 years ago was in Paris with Galeries Lafayette on fashion tech, finally, but also an open innovation platform. So why did we come to Stuttgart, of all places in this world, is that in Silicon Valley, we started with the open innovation concept. Thinking back, also to Saeed Amidi, our CEO and founder. He was an investor, bought this building in Silicon Valley, hosted startups there, helped the startups with connections, with mentoring, etc. Invested in many startups, but at a certain stage, what startups really need is help also with business development. And so the idea came in Silicon Valley. Let's invite industry partners and cluster startups on certain topics which are appealing to the industry partners, and have them collaborate together. So putting kind of startups and industry together, and this program evolved. We started searching for startups on the interest of our corporate partners in Silicon Valley. And we called this open innovation, and clustered basically several verticals, starting with retail, with IoT, with fintech, with insurtech. And in our IoT vertical, we had a few partners from Germany, which namely were Bosch, Hella, and also Mercedes-Benz, back then Daimler. And those are all big companies. They have big R&D departments. They are running their own internal incubation. They have sometimes their own accelerator. They have they're sometimes a CVC, like an investment arm of those companies. And again, Mercedes, also in Silicon Valley and in Israel, had startup scouts, and they were looking for new technologies, which kind of were they seeing to spread all over the world. And Mercedes said, "Oh, we have to kind of watch this trend a little bit. We are known for being the most innovating brand in automotive, and we have to keep up with those trends. This is possibly a new channel." So from the interactions in Silicon Valley, they saw really great startups were able to speak with them, to learn their technology. But for many companies, not only here the German ones, also others from Japan and all over the world, they said, what do we get out of it at the end of the day? It's great to see startups, but what successes do we have? And they said, there are some successes, but we have to streamline this better and focus a little bit more result-oriented. And said we have to try to bring startups closer to our business units, to our tech experts, and the tech experts are here in Stuttgart. So they said, we have to try our best to build a platform here, to work on this topic, startups, to also have in Stuttgart like a young entrepreneurial ecosystem, where new startups also can evolve and grow. And since they knew Plug and Play in Silicon Valley, one day the board was visiting us there, and shortly after, we got approached by Mercedes saying, "Hey, we'd love you to come to Stuttgart to work with you, create an open innovation platform, and find startups from all over the world, bring them to Stuttgart, and do this also together with the entire value chain of automotive, because we are Mercedes, we are a great big company and known to be innovative, but it will be likely even more attractive if we do this together with a number of other companies, including other OEMs and tier one companies, etc." So that was kind of
actually stop you there, because I want to dive a little bit deeper in terms of what stage was the ecosystem at the time. And given that you obviously had these large companies that had obviously the appetite to go into open innovation, how did you look at the ecosystem then? How did you attract talent, to Stuttgart?
Yeah. Again, we have to kind of see from what side we are looking at, because of course the big corporation, they have an interest to work with startups and stay up with the newest technology trends. Then also for the ecosystem in Stuttgart, it was important to grow, to have more startups evolving, and to keep innovation sustainable over a long period of time. If we look back, it was a little bit startup desert here in Stuttgart. If you can relate, maybe being in Abu Dhabi, and if we look today, our program Startup Autobahn. We are now 33 partners. We had about 300 startups come and join our programs, all of them with projects. We had about 400 POCs or pilots going on our platform. And the biggest factor, the most important factor, the transfer rate, which we say it's minimum about a quarter of these POCs that are going into production or implementation, meaning also in services or processes or in the actual product. And so compared again to 6 years ago when we started here, it's still not a Berlin, it's still not a Silicon Valley or like in other places in the world, but it became, for mobility, for Industry 4.0, probably the most successful startup collaboration platform with industry in the world. So yeah, so it's a great change to 6 years ago, and
it's a great achievement.
It's a great achievement, and also again going back, we had several founding partners. So Mercedes-Benz, of course, who initiated this project, also including the University of Stuttgart, also including a research hub called Arena 2036, which kind of it's a connect between classic research and industry to open together also in an open environment. Our offices are of Plug and Play and Startup Autobahn are situated also in this research hub. So it's really a combined effort to get this ecosystem here in Stuttgart going with all parties, and especially, of course, the industry partners which we have on board, including also Porsche, which is a big competitor here for Mercedes in Stuttgart, Hyundai, which from Korea, who's very active on our platform, but also many traditional tier 1 companies from Germany like Bosch or Schaeffler, or international companies like Bridgestone, and I'm sorry, and I can't name them all because it's 33. But it's the effort of all, and the commitment, not to make the platform happen, but to be result oriented, to engage, and to work on this to get something out of it at the end.
Absolutely. And given obviously the importance of collaboration between Plug and Play and these corporate partners, who else obviously played an important role? I know you mentioned sort of some of the names in research and academia. Who else played an important role in sort of supporting you in terms of developing this over the past 5 years, whether that's sort of the government? I'd love to know how was the government involved, and potentially other ecosystem players.
Yeah. So first of all, I think the value of Plug and Play, and in the meanwhile, we are in over 40 locations in the world and running over 60 innovation programs. And every program is slightly different because the needs in all locations are a little bit different, and programs always have to adapt to the local needs of our partners. So there's not really one good fit or one good solution which fits all. In Stuttgart, again, we had the two main objectives is to long-term help the ecosystem for innovation to be more sustainable, and then also, and most importantly, to get it going, is the involvement of our corporate partners to be engaged, to do pilot projects. Because at the end of the day, again, like startups these days, because there's also the startup ecosystem globally evolved a little bit in the meanwhile, it's easier to get money. It's also not so hard to get mentoring. But what Plug and Play brings to the table is kind of this international connect and this framework, and to bring all parties together to kind of have a beginning and an end of working relationship with an outcome, to make this also efficient. There is again many ecosystems which are already quite evolved, even here in Germany, funnily, and in those in the mini ecosystems, I would say there's many accelerators, there's many innovation activities, but at the end you need a neutral moderator which brings people together to which people or the individual stakeholders respect, and you have a common goal and working on this together.
Right. And in terms of looking back again at when you started the program a few years ago, where you had to go and scout internationally for tech talents, obviously to help solve some of these problems that the corporates had, have you seen a shift recently between sort of the talent that you were importing in the past versus sort of the homegrown talent that you're seeing now in Germany or probably across Europe?
Yes, so of course, the university in Stuttgart has 30,000 students, and it's very engineering focused. So there's a lot of ideas, and there's a lot of IP being developed. We are, like with the university, for example, we are working on an entrepreneurship program. So, helping them, to see a better vision to what they can achieve, to grow, to be able to create something on their own, and to be able to possibly grow their ideas globally. Traditionally, in Stuttgart, most of the people who are graduating, they're going into the big companies like Mercedes, to Bosch, to Porsche, and many other companies who are locally, because this is traditionally how it's been and accepted. So building the startup ecosystem, students, for example, or young people need role models. So we will help them with that, for example. Yeah.
And in terms of, again, looking back at the experience that you had and the different programs that you probably run, would you say, in your experience, is it better to have local, purely local talents sort of develop, or do you think that there is a need of a combination where probably some ecosystem, depending on the stage, need to import that talent before they're able to build it?
Yeah, so we're living in a global economy, and innovation is global these days. And if you have a cap on and you say, like, I'm a researcher and I do the greatest technology ever, and you're sitting in Stuttgart, but you don't see what's going on in other places in the world, it might not go very far, because at the end of the day, you you need to benchmark, you need to be one of the best out there, and you need to see what other international technologies and have a look into the international ecosystem. That's important for the startups, for the entrepreneurs, but it's even more important for the big corporates, for the industry, so who again have also their own R&D department. But with all these new technologies developing out there, they need to have a global view of what's going on in the world. And I think that's the strength of Plug and Play, since we are in most major startup ecosystem. We have a really good view into what are the newest cutting edge technologies out there. Approaching them, and Plug and Play, it's in the meanwhile a pretty known name out there, and bringing those startups to our corporate partners, doing introductions on the focuses of the corporate partners, and have a good methodic, have a good system. So at the end of the day, the corporates are actually including this startup, this new tech channel startups in their group strategy, and do this with system and with strategy.
Okay, and for those who are probably interested in looking at Stuttgart, or probably even for us in Abu Dhabi, we have our own priority sectors that we look at, although we're global in nature as well. But are you seeing trends recently within specific sectors that Stuttgart can sort of, or the program you've been running can stand out?
Yeah, so trends are always, of course, there are technology trends. But there's definitely trends which are favored by some of our partners. And, again, most of our partners are in the mobility world, are production companies. So when it comes to production, there is, flexible production, there is, HMI topics, there's autonomous vehicles, there's how to make production more energy efficient, how to automate production better, and all underlying sustainability topics, for example. Which for all our partners right now, it's one of the biggest topics, since in Germany or in Europe we have this objective to be carbon neutral in a few years. So we are hustling a little bit to reach that goal here.
And actually, into that, are you noticing, have you experienced any sort of policy change that needed to be made, for example, within the city or in Germany to accommodate for these kind of transformations and technology developments? Can you think of any cases that
policy changes? Yeah, I think policy changes. I think the government realizes that for especially when it comes to startups, they have to speed up the documentation, the administration processes. I'm not sure how many things have been done so far, but definitely the awareness is there. And I think that's a major thing, because awareness is kind of the first step when you work with startups. Then the cultural mindset change is the second step. Then working with the startups and with to have a outcome with result is like the last step.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have to say we're lucky in UAE, because given the stage at which we are at with our emerging ecosystem, the government has been really a key driving force in terms of embracing innovation, ensuring that the gaps are removed to attract and sort of help entrepreneurs grow in the region. This has really paid off over the past 5 to 7 years, I would say. So I was curious to see whether similar things are happening in Europe.
The government, welcomed us with open arms. It was very important for like the state minister. We are in the state of Baden-Württemberg here, which is one of the states which is producing one of the most, like when it comes to cars, machines, etc. We are getting props from the local city. So it's the ministers, it's the mayor. Everybody supports our mission here, and that's most important.
Great. And just to sort of probably wrap up a little bit of the conversation, looking ahead probably in the next 5 years, looking at where you are today, where do you see this program and potentially sort of the work that you're doing with the corporates evolve?
Good. When I look back when we started here, like the biggest challenge for our corporates was how do I do a POC as efficient as possible? Then it kind of said, okay, now that we know how to do POCs, how do I bring it into and transfer it into implementation? Then the next step was, we figured this part with the implementation out and running POCs, but it would be great, since we are on the platform together also with other partners, why don't we look together at technologies and, because we all have a similar common vision, and see, is there any ways we could work together on some technologies? So we call this cross collaboration. Then next step was that many of our partners said, hey, we understand all the processes, we are quite successful, but if we want to stream this channel as efficient as possible, we might need help also from with other things, meaning from hey, maybe ideation processes, project management, and really helping from A to Z to implement startups into, again, their processes, products, and services. And what I see coming in the next stage is that industry different industries are not merging, but the gaps are becoming closer. So there is a lot of overlap for new technology from different industries which were more working in silos so far. So example, like a fintech company, like a bank, for example, it's very interesting for them to look now towards mobility, since there are so many new ideas for revenue streams coming up, as the cars becoming more connected. There's what we call metaverse. There's it's all buzzwords, but there are so many new business models, opportunities, which can evolve right now, and a lot of technologies which have to work for both for industries to cross collaborate. Basically, I think this is the next big thing. Big thing, and I think this is really a big opportunity also for Plug and Play to help our partners and stakeholders, whether it will be like classic industry or government stakeholders or university to help find new solutions and to internationalize them with the biggest impact at the end of the day.
Thanks so much, Sasha. This is super interesting. I'm very much looking forward to, seeing, probably how Abu Dhabi can leverage some of the great work you've done, and hopefully we'll see a little bit more sort of, exchange in terms of knowledge, hopefully technology and talent in the coming months and years. Again, thanks so much for this. This has been a super interesting conversation. Just some final thoughts from your side, looking at what's being developed at the moment in Abu Dhabi and the program that we're running here with Plug and Play. Would love to hear your final thoughts on this.
Yeah, I love to see more of the program. Again, in Stuttgart, we are in our 6th year now, so can remember well when we started, how it was, and it's what we need from the stakeholders who we work with is really their engagement, their openness. What our team is doing is they need to listen to your needs, assess very well, and adapt to the local objectives and run the program. And we're so happy to help here from Stuttgart or our other plug and play locations here in Europe, which are a little bit further in stage already. And hope with the next expo that I can be there physically.
Fantastic. We're very much looking forward to meeting you in person and hosting you in Abu Dhabi.
Thank you so much, Miriam.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure, Sasha. Take care. All the best.
Thank you, Miriam and Sasha, for the insightful conversation around the fine balance between importing and homegrown innovation. And now we are going to hear from 4 fantastic startups on how their products are changing the world. We have Neuron Soundware, Airponix, CurveSYS, and Airwayz. Let's get started. First up, we have Neuron Soundware.
Hi everyone, we're Neuron Soundware. Thanks for having us today. We are a young company from Czech Republic that started with a dream. We dreamt of artificial intelligence to be used on sounds of machines to digitize what the gentleman on the right side is doing, to listen to machines, to recognize their problems, and essentially to digitize this unique human skill. And after 5 or 6 years in the business, we can say we've pretty much done it. And I will show you how later. First, I want to say that along the way, we won a number of prizes and we're very proud of them. Our machine learning team is globally top 5 in sound anomaly detection, which is the basis of our technology. And we've worked throughout those years with a lot of accelerators. And we are very happy to have investors on board who helped us get where we are today. I want to mention Plug and Play here, who helped us in US and Japan a lot, and whom we worked with in Germany for the sustainability and for the Autobahn programs. And we are now happy to be in Abu Dhabi to pursue opportunities in this new region. Our customers are a very important part of our journey. They helped us shape the product. They helped us understand how we can help in the industries and where digitized human hearing can bring value. And we found out there are several areas. Most important of them are obviously machine monitoring and maintenance. And the other is what's called end-of-line testing, when people are listening to the finished product, in automotive especially. Now, the system that does that, that enables this, is the digital analog of the human ear and brain. It listens to the machines through sensors connected to IoT device. It records those sounds and stores them and learns from them in the brain, which in our case is the cloud platform. And then it judges, says the verdict. In the case of AI, it infers, and it says something like, this machine is running okay, or this machine has a problem. And it produces this result in the form of a visual dashboard, or an alert, or an email, or just the data that can be integrated into our customer systems. So it brings them different sorts of value depending on the usage or the use case that we are in. Sometimes it simply listens to machines saying whether they are running or not. Or it does the true precursor to predictive maintenance based on anomaly detection, essentially saying the machine is still running normally, or there is a problem present on the machine. And we found out that there is a lot of value in this service, but some of our customers said, we need more. We expect you to really identify the problem. So we've added vibration diagnostics basics into the algorithms we are working with. And today we can add that to the verdict, to the insight of the AI. So we can bring the customer information such as there is a problem on the machine and it's coming from the bearing, or the suspect is the gearbox, or something like that. And that really brings us very close to the promise of predictive maintenance, and still keeps us in the situation where we can deploy the service in a few days of installation. So we work on the assets that we have most success with, but essentially the technology is capable of doing this for any asset that produces sound or vibration. Geographically, we work with partners. We want to work with partners who understand the industry, who understand the geography. And we're here today in the GCC region because we believe that the region has a lot of potential. We've explored it earlier, and we know that plug and play can help us a lot. So we're looking for early customers in the region. We're looking for partners who are present, who understand customers' pain and would be willing to work with us. And we're looking for investors who can help us get into the market and take together with us the next step on our way. If you're one of those, or if you're just plain interested, hit our website or get in touch with me. We'll be happy to talk. Thank you very much for having us today.
I'm Michael Rouget, and I will tell you about our technology to feed the world. I'm sure I don't need to tell any of you about the challenges we face to feed the growing population. Imagine being able to grow all of this fresh produce locally, sustainably, and economically almost anywhere in the world. Well, we're on the path to doing just that with our unique patented fog. It is just like a dry cloud with droplets of magnitude smaller than the diameter of a human hair or any other Airponix system. And thus they remain suspended in air, penetrating right into the root hairs, letting them absorb just what they need when they need it. Nothing is wasted. We offer a smart, sustainable solution that creates the perfect and unique root structures, as you can see, while using no soil, less than 95% water and natural light, overcoming the challenges, limitations, and environmental impacts of current methods. We've already grown a wide range of crops with yields many times that of conventional or hydroponics, while being more tasty, nutritious, and with longer shelf life. We are currently focusing on higher value crops while we reduce our cost base. In Kenya and Scotland, growers have achieved multiple-fold increases in production of seed potatoes compared to their current aeroponic systems. At NIAB in Cambridge, we have had impressive yields of crops suitable for the Middle East region. One of our target markets is assisted growing of crops, such as in the Netherlands, where 9,300 hectares are under glass. Capturing just 5% of that market would give over £1 million revenue. In the Middle East, supply chains have collapsed as a result of COVID. Airponix, however, offers a solution to grow their own crops locally. As we are able to blow our fog anywhere, rather than rely on horizontal hydroponic trays, one above the other, we're able to totally redesign current indoor vertical farming systems, and by using natural light, dramatically reduce OPEX and CAPEX costs. The market value is estimated at 2.8 billion for the GCC region alone. We've received seed funding from Centrica Innovations, a recent seed bridge, and grant funding to develop our technology and gain market traction. We have just commenced a pilot trial for PepsiCo and have significant pull from the Middle East region, including 6 sales leads following my visit to the UAE and Oman in February, with support from Plug and Play, Abu Dhabi Investment Office, and corporate partners. Our team covers key disciplines with a wealth of experience. I worked for Shell International for over 24 years with a formidable track record of developing and deploying disruptive new technologies. Henry brings a wealth of technology integration knowledge. Rob identifies and prioritizes business opportunities, and Luke helps to implement projects. Our board provides oversight with experience in legal, commercial, and strategy. Our business Our business model comprises 3 stackable components. Sales margin is supplemented with license fees and royalties, while still giving growers a healthy return. Our competitors are suppliers of growing systems, but we are the only ones using fog with its inherent yield and cost advantages. Vertical farmers could be collaborators rather than competitors. Among our scenarios, we expect to see gradual adoption giving way to rapid scaling from 2025. Our forecast investor multiples may exceed 100 times. We seek £1 million from appropriate investors to build our business, to enhance sales capabilities, establish Abu Dhabi as our beachhead for the region, continued R&D to drive down unit costs, develop a B2C, that's a home allotment system where just a 2-meter unit can produce as much as 40 meters squared earth allotment. If you're interested in Airponix and our technology to feed the world, I'd love to hear from you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Dennis, and I'm the inventor of CurveSYS.
Hi, my name is Max, and I am the co-founder of CurveSYS.
Converting touch into data is our topic. About CurveSYS. CurveSYS is a sensor development, design, and integration company that specializes in providing cutting-edge and elastic sensor systems. Our mission, converting touch into data to understand physical environments and user input. The story of CurveSYS began years ago. My life confronted me with the reality, and my father has been a victim of microsleep. And from that on, my life changed in 7 seconds. These nightmares and the experience transformed my vision and lead me to a creation of the Flex sensor system with the focus saving many human lives.
So what are the main problems that we solve in our globally connected high-tech world? So first of all, we provide a never seen before flexible sensor that can be implemented in very narrow spaces in the tech sector and further different industries. And our application will make data more rapidly available through our advanced hardware and software, and to ultimately encourage and empower lagging companies to evolve their research and their development and take them to the next level. Our sensors that we offer have several benefits. First of all, they have extreme flexibility, stretchability, and they can be implemented and embedded in several different product surfaces and materials. They offer connectivity for IoT implementations. The software can be programmed and tailored to the specific application, and with features such as GPS tracking, it offers a very low power consumption and even a heating function. And due to the development of the tech, it is ready for serious production. The versatility of our sensors leads to the possibility of implementing in several markets, such as automotive, IoT, security, smartphone and gaming, as well as smart wearables.
We have huge applications. One of these big ones is IoT. Gaming industry, smart textile industry, smart automotive. For example, smart textile industry, we implement CurveSYS sensors in a suit or in a helmet, and we are able to monitor the injury and health area. Applications for logistics. Smart home IoTs in a smart package recognition manner, but also smart logistic tracking of pallets and goods, detection of loading and unloading, and smart shelves, fast and intelligent inventory monitoring. We have also huge applications for the automotive industry, where we start, like in seats, presence detection, or in buses. We can recognize how many people are sitting or standing. Smart bumper solutions, we can recognize as well as first, is there a crash monitored? In which area? Is it left, right? Is the car on the roof? It's extremely important to recognize those informations in milliseconds. And the battery monitoring, the next generation what has happened with the battery? Is there a blow up? Is it a crash or something? We can detect all these topics.
So our core business consists of the flexible sensor technology itself, as well as the specific application design. And furthermore, our business structure includes the high innovative patents, as well as a licensing model that is very simple and versatile. And the custom logic and algorithm software that we provide takes every application to the next level.
And we have strong partnerships globally. We are now we have a production-ready technology. That means up to 1 million sensors per week, we are able to produce them by renowned partners globally. And this is the focus and the future of CurveSYS, to implement our sensors in many, many different areas in healthcare, in the industry, in the 4.0 especially, and we are very happy to be a part of this awesome program. And we hope that we can definitely realize POCs in Abu Dhabi and change the future to an innovative world. And many greetings. Ma salama.
Thank you, and let's connect in Abu Dhabi soon. Bye-bye.
Commercial drone solutions, such as delivery and inspections, have gotten to a technology maturity point of commercial deployment. However, we are yet to see scalable operations over our city skies. The problem? Lack of a system to manage and synchronize drone fleets in real time safely and efficiently. And that's what we're here to do. I'm Eyal Zor, CEO and co-founder of Airwayz, and I'll talk to you about scalable unmanned traffic management solution. To better understand the problem, ask yourself, how do different drone fleets, such as Amazon or UPS, can operate and synchronize in the same complex airspace like our city skies? Well, Airwayz was founded by ex-IAF personnel. We bring unique global experience on managing complex airspaces, and we are experts in drones and UTM technology. Together, we developed what is believed to be the world's first AI-based UTM to maximize our city's capacity. What we do, we maximize the capacity by utilizing AI technology while looking at different kinds of drone fleets and learning its constraints, while also understanding the dynamic environment. By that, we can optimize multiple flight routes in real time in order to support scalable economic operations for drones. How do we do it? Think about traditional aviation, where you have the air traffic controller and you have the pilots. We mimic that kind of method with technology, while we have the cloud-based, that the AI, which do the management of the skies, and you have the drones, that are the pilots. By synchronizing both of them autonomously, we can maximize the operation of the sky by replacing the human in the loop in a more efficient way. Just imagine a large dome sitting over the city, managing all the unmanned air traffic while synchronizing with different kinds of traffic, all in the real place. To see it, just think that we are in the center of the ecosystem. You have all the stakeholders who connect to the system from one part, and you have all the drone fleets and air taxis connect from the other. And in the middle, you are the bridge to connecting everyone to the same environment. When we got the recognition from the pilot we've done in Israel, which was the largest UTM trial in the world, I can say we controlled more than 8 drone fleets in the same time with more than 17 drones, already conducted more than 15,000 flights. It was 10 times larger than the NASA UTM pilot. We also demonstrated the confliction with helicopters and dynamic interaction with the city. And just see in your next movie here, how we managed in real time dozens of drones operating in just one neighborhood over Tel Aviv, all in real time. Well, that's capacity and a technology leader. So we've already conducted flights in Tel Aviv, doing delivery, inspection, etc. And together with our partners from Plug and Play Abu Dhabi, we are now coming for upcoming deployments, such of them, in the UAE and also around the area. While we also have another attractions like, we're going to be the world first projects in Europe, one of the largest UTM deployments in the world to control an entire area of a port and to prove commerciality. And beside that, we also have different kind of deployments all over the world, proving that we have significant UTM traction to date. As for competitors, we can only say that we are already recognized to be a market leader in technology for scalable deployments, and we are the only UTM company that can support multi-drone fleets operations in real time and maximum capacity airspace usage. As for regulations, well, I can just say both the US and Europe, as well as UAE and other parts of the world, have stated that UTM deployments can start doing scalable operations starting from January 2023 with companies which are ready to do so, such as Airwayz, and we're going to be there. And as for the market itself, well, if you look at delivery, security, inspection, and even the future air taxis, all of those markets are depending on scalable UTM solution in order to start scalable operations, right? So UTM is an enabler for the entire market to scale, and that's what we're aiming to do. And as for business strategy, well, we already conducted significant pilots in the world, and we are looking for large deployments during 2022-2023, and we want to be a market leader by the year 2024 with our technology. In general, for the company itself, I can just say we were established in 2019, as we said. The company to date is more than 15 persons in-house. We've raised more than $2 million from private investors, and we're also granted by $1 million from Innovation Authority and the Israeli DARPA, and we already have significant traction. Today, we have an ongoing funding A round, and for those which are relevant, we'll be happy to connect regarding the round. And we are also looking for more scalable deployment sites for our solutions. To conclude, why now? Well, the market is mature and ready. The regulations in approval for UTM deployment, and we already have flood of installments globally. We aim to be the world first player in the UTM, and that's what we're here for in Airwayz. Thank you very much for your time.
Wow, what a fantastic group of startups. Using Soundware to predict machine breakdowns, growing organic food using a fog, flexible sensors to help reduce accidents, or managing a fleet of drones. We've got something for everyone. Coming up next is a panel discussion moderated by Lynn Schumann, Senior Editor, LinkedIn News. The panelists are visionary leaders helping push forward the innovation agenda. From Abu Dhabi Ports Group, we have VP of Innovation, Iman Al-Khalaqi, Ibtisam Al-Saadi, Acting Industrial Development Department Director at Abu Dhabi Department of Economic Development, and Faisal Al-Hamadi, Assistant Undersecretary, Entrepreneurship and SMEs at the Ministry of Economy. The discussion will be about the art of public and private sector collaboration for innovation. Let's get started.
Hello and welcome to Industry 4.0 Virtual Demo Day hosted by Plug and Play Abu Dhabi. My name is Lynn Schumann, a journalist at LinkedIn, and your host for today's panel, The Art of Public and Private Sector Collaboration. So today we will try to understand how the UAE is supporting the collab between public and private sector, what are the benefits of these collaborations, and the main pain points faced by both parties. We'll also hear key learnings from our panelists and some concrete examples putting public and private sector collaboration and partnerships into perspective. I'm pleased and honored to be chatting today to Ms. Iman Al-Khalaqi, the VP of Innovation at Abu Dhabi Ports Group.
Thank you, Lynn, and thank you, Plug and Play, for hosting the demo day. And we are happy and excited to be here.
I'm also happy to welcome Mr. Faisal Al-Hamadi, Assistant Undersecretary for Entrepreneurship and SMEs at the Ministry of Economy in the UAE.
Thank you, Lynn. I'd also like to thank Plug and Play Abu Dhabi for hosting today, hopefully for an enriching discussion for this session.
And joining us from the Industrial Development Bureau, a part of the Abu Dhabi Department of Economy, is Ms. Ibtisam Al-Saadi, Acting Industrial Development Department Director. Welcome.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here today, and we are looking forward for a great discussion. Thank you so much.
So I'm super excited, and thank you so much for being here. Let's start with the big picture to set the discussion. First things first, the basics. Mr. Faisal, I want to talk to you first about the vision of the UAE, about the best or the sample, the best practices when it comes to partnering up with the public sector. So, which companies is the UAE planning to attract? Which sectors does it want to focus on? Can you tell us more about the vision in that sense?
Sure, Lynn. When it comes to the UAE, we always look at the innovation as being at the forefront of our economy, and we really double down on that aspect. We have already introduced a lot of initiatives to ensure that the innovation ecosystem is moving forward. From one angle, there have been multiple bodies that have been established to ensure that the regulatory framework and the governance of innovation and R&D is being pushed forward. Here, an example is the Emirates Research and Development Council, chaired by His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan. Also, at the Abu Dhabi level, there is the Abu Dhabi Research and Development Committee, which really focuses on advanced technology and pushing advanced technology forward. That's from the regulatory and governance aspect. Also, when it comes to funding, there are more than one avenue for people and businesses to access when it comes to innovation. Here, I'd like to showcase a few examples. One is the Mohammed bin Rashid Innovation Fund, which is dedicated to innovation. Another one is the ICT Fund, also another example that focuses on innovation. So that's from funding. Regulatory governance is there, funding is there. But also when it comes to the infrastructure itself, there are multiple labs that are already in place here in the UAE. An example is the EPTEC lab at Khalifa University. It's a joint effort between Etisalat, British Telco, and Khalifa University to ensure that the innovation in telco and communication is being pushed forward. Also, there are other examples throughout the UAE when we talk about innovation labs. Fueling all of that, so you have multiple aspects of the ecosystem, but also the talent itself. Lots of initiatives have been in place to ensure that we are attracting the best and the right talent, not only to experience and push their ideas forward, but also to ensure that they will stay for the UAE for a longer time, and they consider the UAE as home for their innovation, for their ideas, for their businesses and startups.
And month over month, we're seeing those initiatives coming into becoming concrete. We also hear of new incentives like the visa schemes, etc. Mr. Ibtisam, I want to talk to you about some of the concrete examples that you see from the Department of Economic Development. Are there any specific sectors, any specific particular company types or products that are more active in that period? From can you tell us a bit about the infrastructure of those company or of this collab between the public and private sector from where you stand?
From DG perspective, we are actually looking into all the sectors, so we don't have an exact example. Yes, we can see that the food industry is more active in that sectors, or the chemical sectors as well. So both are actually attached. The food sector is attached with the chemical, with the food additive and so on. However, we are trying to support all the sectors to ensure that they all get the fair chance to compete locally, regionally, and internationally. So when we talk about what are the sectors that are active and collaborate between the public and the private sectors, we have the food industry, we have the chemical industry. We even now are trying to support them through the smart manufacturing. So by supporting the industry overall to transfer to 4.0 industry, we are collaborating with international companies from the private sector to support those entities in the private sector to go with the transformation, the know-how, by equipment, technology, or even by human capital.
And Abu Dhabi Ports is also working on this, the transition, the digitization, and also innovation when it comes to logistics. We also hear, a lot of very good examples of companies who have made it from the UAE in this sector. Can you tell us a bit, Ms. Iman, about what you guys are doing to attract those companies? What kind of companies are you aiming for
Yeah, basically we are attracting SMEs, be it big or small companies. Also, we look for high-tech companies, and we also cater for innovations to come and test and proof concept their innovation. Also, we encourage scientists, entrepreneurs to come to Abu Dhabi ports, and where we give them the opportunity to have an open innovation opportunity, where they sit with different sectors in Abu Dhabi ports and help them in their challenges, and also drive some innovation, and be it operation excellence, be it AI, be it new technologies, sustainability, renewable energy. And also we had a couple of examples where Abu Dhabi ports helped startups and also scale-ups, and some of them, they came to KeyZad to invest in KeyZad and to invest in our logistics supply chain. And we digitalized the economy and the transportation by helping the government, by joining forces with economic department, with the customs, with the facilities in KeyZad, with the airlines and so on, where we help the nation and storing and transporting the vaccination. And not only that, but also how to ease the business, and how we have seamless corridors, logistic corridors between in Abu Dhabi, the Emirates of Abu Dhabi. Also, we are aiming to expand not only in the UAE, but also in the international footprint.
So a strong infrastructure and a strong agility model or agile model is basically fueled or supported by capital. Mr. Faisal, like we've seen the amounts, the flood of money that has been pouring into VCs, private equity, that has been supporting innovation in general in the world. One of the main reasons behind that was, the interest rates. But those dancing days are gone. What are you doing to prepare for a different global macroeconomic state, with interest rates obviously heading towards going up?
I think when it comes to funding for startups, the UAE has been ranked the first in the MENA region when it comes to amount of VC funding deployed. So we attract around 60% of the funding that is allocated to MENA, all of it being here in the UAE. That's one angle. The other angle, we have seen that the ticket size is really high, and it's growing. We reached to around 11 million dirhams as an average ticket size, which shows the maturity of these startups and the ecosystem here. Also, another initiative that has been pushed by our colleagues at the Emirates Development Bank to focus on providing financing to SMEs, startups, and to ensure that all of this ecosystem is growing. Around 5 billion dirhams have been allocated to this sector from Emirates Development Bank. And also there is another fund that is targeting the fresh grads and also university students, around 1 billion dirham. So all of that, looking at the global perspective, what we want to do is to seed the right amount of fund at this stage to ensure that we have the right companies as we go in the future. Some of the sectors, for example, you were asking about the sectors. It's clearly evident the government has appointed a minister on food security, a minister focused on advanced technology, a minister focused on industry, a minister focused on SMEs, a minister focused on foreign trade. So you see how the overall push is going, but also we don't forget our base, retail, logistics, transport, and others. They will always be at our forefront when it comes to supporting these sectors.
Before you move on, I just would like to add one more point. We also in DED, we have a program called Financial Ecosystem that we are supporting the startups, the existing investor, by facilitating with the banks, creating a tailored incentives or packages with a very low interest rate to help them continue their business, and this is being supported by DED. We also are working with other companies and entities like Khalifa Fund to support and the SMEs entities in Abu Dhabi and over the UAE as well.
And we see also the financing options are being looked at in a wider way, not just from traditional banks. So like new or digital banks, neobanks maybe would be coming to play. I want to ask you, Mr. Iman, what is one of the main pain points or challenges that the companies you deal with, Abu Dhabi ports deal with, face? And how do you collaborate with those companies to solve for those issues?
One of the challenges that Abu Dhabi ports been facing was utility rates, and where KeyZad tenants find some difficulty with the high rates and no anticipation of rates, of utility rates. So their business model been hit. So they said, okay, we came to KeyZad, we rent something, then we never anticipated those rates. So what Abu Dhabi ports have been doing is collaborating with utilities provider by putting some efforts and joint ventures, and also some collaboration to find like a unified utilities rates that be very transparent to our tenants. So they come and they know exactly what they are investing in. Yeah.
What about you, Mr.
Yeah, because that was one of the pain points that we received from investors. That's why DD in 2019 had announced the Electric Tariff Incentive Program, where we provide a long-term agreement. The program is for 10 years, and the participant entities will be receiving a reduced tariff for electricity. That will help them create and have a clear vision for their businesses. And this is one of the things that we are covering currently with the Abu Dhabi Industrial Strategy. We are communicating with the private sector. We need to understand what is the challenges they are facing. How can we improve them to increase, let's say, their revenue and reduce the cost? Because this is what any investor will be looking at. So this is one of the things that we had number of study and workshop with the private sector to try to enhance and come up with incentive and program to support them.
And speaking of cost, obviously like a fixed but not so fixed cost is expected to come next year, which is the tax, the corporate tax. Mr. Faisal, how are you preparing with your team to be ready and to also to make sure that the companies that are coming in, that the investors that are coming in or who are currently looking to invest in the UAE, how are you working with them to introduce this new tax that's coming for the first time?
When it comes to government, it's not a secret that in the past or even today in the UAE, the government relies heavily on government fees, when it comes as a source of revenue. However, with the introduction of the corporate tax in June 2023, this whole formula will change. We are working today across the government or the bodies to revise all the sort of fees that are applied across the different services, and presumably on the ones when it comes to businesses. All of those fees will be revised massively to ensure that we remain competitive when it comes to fees. That's one angle when it comes to fees, but also highlighting on businesses, attracting businesses, and so on. The UAE look holistically at how to attract businesses and how to ensure the businesses who are established in the UAE can grow. Examples is the 100% foreign ownership law. In the past, you needed to have an Emirati partner or an Emirati sponsor. Moving forward, you can own your business anywhere in the UAE, not only in the free zone. Another one is the bankruptcy law. So it allows you to get access to financing, even during tough times, even if you fail. So provide you a little bit of room, let's say, to maneuver the system. Also, when it comes to access to talent, the golden visas. So we'd like to ensure that anyone who comes to the UAE sees the UAE as being a dream home for them. Also, when it comes to the, let's say, staff employees, today in the UAE, we are very lucky that we have world-class universities, graduating talent that you can employ in your business. So it's a holistic approach, and part of it is fees, which we are tackling as well.
Speaking of cost and of cost of labor, because it's also one of the biggest challenge for companies to bring in people with talent, with specific talent to work here. Ms. Iman, do you hear of any problems related to finding the right talent for the companies that are working in the logistics sector, the companies that you work with through Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, we hear a lot about the challenge that logistics or maritime facing in terms of talent attraction. That's why Abu Dhabi Ports, launched Abu Dhabi Maritime Academy, where they, teach logistics and maritime, and they graduate, cadetship and also logistics engineers and so on. So that's why Abu Dhabi Port wants to make sure that these talents are being, brought up internally, and they attract not only UAE national, but every national, and they are attracting international students as well. So we have also partnership with the biggest universities in Australia and so on. So that's why Abu Dhabi Ports is not only looking into operation and so on, but also looking in education, bringing up skills and bringing up talents.
What about you, Ms. Ibtisam? On the talent front, is it one of the challenges? Is it, and what exactly is needed? Do you hear companies asking for more technical people? Do you hear companies wanting more specialized people in R&D, for example? Like, what talents are we talking about?
That's true. Actually, in all sectors, I'm not going to be specifically saying one sector. The pharmaceutical is looking for their specific talents to attract. The chemical is as well, machinery and electronic. So actually, we are in need for talent, not just engineers. There is a different aspect of talents that we are trying to find the pool, where to find them, how to find them. So what we're trying to work internally in DED, we have a long life learning team and with ADRO as well to attract those talented people based on the need of the market. So we are not just trying to enhance the existing talent of Emirati, we are trying to attract based on the market need. We are trying to expand, create a baseline for pharmaceutical, for example, for the chemical industry, for the downstream chemical, for the machinery and electronic transportation. We don't have a designer for a car, that's a talent. An electronic person who can create a ship or program the ship, that's a talent. That's need to be attracted.
How are you working on this, on filling the talent gap?
We are working with local entities and international companies that to create the link between us and those talented. Plus, we are working with our partnership, our strategical partnership in the government and the private sector to identify their need, because you first need to identify what is their program, what is their plan to go with. And based on the plan that they are and the need they will have, we are trying to approach those entities internationally and locally and to try to attract them. We are trying even to design packages to attract them and expedite this process to have them in the local market instead of having a visa for 2 months. And so we're trying to study what is the best process to ensure them having them in the market immediately without waiting for so long and lose them for another competitive and other countries.
This is one of the examples of an agile government program that is basically being on the ground as concrete as it can to be efficient. Mr. Faisal, we know that public and private sector work in totally different, with totally different philosophies, right? Do you think that with this speed that technology is bringing to the table, is the government changing to adopt more agile approaches to doing business and catch up with the private sector? And also, on the other hand, what is the government teaching those companies?
I think we are very fortunate here in the UAE to have such a progressive government. The UAE government has always been operating in a startup mode, I would say. I mean, you know how startup kind of mode is. It's very agile, very fast, very demanding. And this is the approach we have been adopting as a government, cuts across all of the UAE. Not only that, but also the government leads by example. A lot of the efforts that you see, the role of the government was evident to nudge the system and to provide the right tools and provide the right, I would say, sandbox for people to experiment. The current changes, the global changes and the global trends really brings a lot of uncertainty for the future. You talked about the fast-paced changes and so on. And this requires that everyone to be on top of what they do. And also you provide a lot of room for uncertainty. And that's what we do here in the UAE. Anyone who has an idea, anyone who has a concept, anyone who wants to test new things, they are welcomed here in the UAE. And we will work with them as a government to ensure that the right laws, regulations, policies, support system, ecosystem is in place for all of that to move together. And that actually was one of the attractive points why companies are located here in the UAE, be it startups or be it global companies. I think the public and private partnership here in the UAE is very unique, and we need to build on that, and we will continue supporting the different countries.
Yeah, awesome. And I'd also like, building on what Mr. Faisal said, I'd also like to hear from you, Ms. Iman, about the profiles that you're looking for. We're talking about agility, we're talking about like maybe the ability to switch your business model very quickly. Even in logistics, that tends to be kind of a more on the traditional side, because it's really not, and things are evolving. What kind of profiles are you looking for today?
You know, in Abu Dhabi ports, because it contains of 5 clusters. So ports, maritime, logistics, digital, and the free zones and economic cities. So the profiles that we are looking, it should be like catering for the full clusters and the whole clusters. But what we are looking at, you know, high tech people with, you know, smart operation or smart manufacturing skills, how to enhance our business. That's why, to make it easier for Abu Dhabi ports to find those talents or to find those profiles, we have partnered with different, you know, incubators with different, you know, scale-ups and startups. So we have the partnership with the Plug and Play that we signed last year. So this will help us to bridge between us and those startups, how to bring them and how to give them the opportunity to, you know, to test their innovation, to test their products and services. And we see how Abu Dhabi ports could help them by providing them the facilities, providing them sometimes with funding, sometimes with, you know, just giving them, you know, some of, you know, the facilities to test and so on. So talents vary between technical, between, you know, operational and so on. So Abu Dhabi Ports is looking for, you know, investing in autonomous tugs and autonomous shipping and so on. So we need these talents to be in place in 5 years. So
so a lot of work has to be done, and also you need to be like ahead of the market. Speaking of being ahead of the market, let's do an exercise that is very difficult, predicting you know, what will change our world. So basically the main innovations that are expected to happen, or at least the spaces of these innovations. Mr. Sam, are you hearing or do you have like a pulse? Can you tell us about what is happening? Like what is something that is surprising you? What is something maybe cutting edge technology, or like a product, or maybe a certain way of doing business that you're seeing that is very special, and you think that it will be one of the main pillars of innovation in the upcoming period?
I'm not going to say it's going to surprise us, because we are staying in very close contact with the private sector. And usually the private sector is working fast, and they are up to date, and they have the expertise. So what we're doing is to make sure that we don't get surprised and get shocked. We are staying in a very close contact with the private sector by supporting them, understand what is their need, providing them with policies, regulation, and also funds, because this will help us stay in line and up to date in all the type of technology. We also are adopting the smart manufacturing. We have a project currently in DED, which is the smart manufacturing. And what we are doing now is to working closely with the private sector to enhance and improve the industrial and manufacturing to do the transformation from the current state to Industry 4.0, not only in the technology aspect, but also in the human aspect, and also on the know-how.
What about your take, Mr. Faisal? Like last few years, it was ride-hailing, maybe e-commerce. And now the world is completely changing, maybe into Web3, into the metaverse. Where are your eyes?
Well, I think there will be some technologies that will disrupt the market. Part of it is the cryptocurrency, for example. I always talk in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000. When you go with a credit card, people would say, I don't have the facility for it. Today, if you come with a cash, people tell you, please, let's do a credit card. I think crypto in a time will become the norm of payment. So that will change a lot of the way business is done. Another thing is the digitalization of things, be it through metaverse or other digitization elements. This will transform the way business is done. And I think the communication also will be impacted. How people interact, how people engage with each other, how they use technology will also disrupt the market. One of the trends that also we see that will disrupt the market as well is the localization of supply chain. So this will push heavily on the businesses to come up with the new business models to, all the synergies, all the gains when it comes to productivity, reducing the cost globally, they will need to implement it locally. So that will also drive a lot of innovation when it comes to companies.
Yeah, and hopefully reflect on the price.
Yes.
In a world of inflation.
This is the vision to have it localized.
Yeah. Yeah.
Supporting in-country value.
Yeah. Ms. Iman, question. And also I'll be asking this question to all panelists. What is one thing that you learned, a key learning or a key takeaway that surprised you and that you learned from a private company, be it recently or maybe throughout your journey?
By dealing with private sector, be it in investing or be it in partnership or be it even having them as a client, we learned a lot that time matters. We need to work on a fast pace. We need to help. We need to disrupt with technologies. We need to disrupt with payment methods, with option of doing business and how to ease the business. So we need to disrupt the business by having it seamless for all our stakeholders, customers, and clients.
So it's basically the speed.
Exactly.
Okay. What about you, Ms. Sam?
Everything matters.
Everything matters.
Everything matters because it's the opinion. When you hear an idea, it's not just an idea, it's someone's dream, it's something that is possible. And this is the advantage with dealing with the private sector, that everything is possible, everything's matter. It's not that just like the weather change, that means that it might be an obstacle or it could be an opportunity. What we are trying to do in DD is to change everything that could be an obstacle or that could be viewed as an obstacle to an opportunity.
Nice. What about you, Faisal?
Well, it's an interesting question. I would say what really caught my attention is the ability of businesses to transform quickly during the pandemic. I'll give you an example. So there were shortages when it came to masks, and the prices kind of skyrocketed. And then all in a few months' time, the price went down to normal. But what happened during that for the price to come down? A lot of the manufacturing facilities here in the UAE, they flipped. I mean, I heard examples of Strata, for example, which does which is airplane parts to move into masks. So it just caught the attention that you need to provide the right platform for businesses, the right ecosystem, and they will lead. All what you need to do is ensure that you have the right ecosystem, give them confidence that they come up with their ideas, and you will support them to transform their ideas and move forward.
Thank you so much. Thank you for those inspiring and very useful points. And thanks everyone for joining. We hope that this session was an inspiration and also give you an idea about how the UAE is thinking when it comes to partnering up with companies. And thanks so much again.
Fantastic insights from the panelists, highlighting the crucial role both the public sector and the private sector play, and how imperative this collaboration is to continue the development and adoption of innovative technologies. We now jump back into startup land with pitches from ZevX, Jungo, and Itrac. First up, we have ZevX.
Hi, I'm Jim Morey. I'm the president of ZevX. We're a small electric vehicle transportation company. We're actually working on a lot of EV technologies. The company was formed back in March of 2020, and we have accelerated quite a few of our technologies into demonstration platforms. We have developed a commercial powertrain kit that we put into these commercial vehicles like you see on the screen here. Many of the Sprinters, any of the F-250s, a lot of your commercial vehicles that are out there are moving into the EV powertrain. So we are really focusing on becoming that worldwide leader in the commercial transformation. a lot of experts really within our organization, not only from the background of our team, but what we're doing on the software enablement side, focusing on building and enriching the entire telematics coming off the CAN bus of these vehicles. And we've got an abstraction layer that works very well that connects the CAN bus to any of our components, EV powertrain components we put on the vehicle. A lot of service and support capabilities through our distribution network, and a fantastic team with over 40 plus years developing some fantastic technologies around the globe. Trusted partner is really a core part of our DNA in becoming that trusted partner with many of our new customers that are learning and understanding how to move their fleets into EV. This is understanding the infrastructure, state of charge, and what it means to manage the state of charge throughout their routes, how they're going to manage their TCO, and obviously driver behavior as they move into this EV experience. So becoming that trusted partner is a big part of our overall value proposition. The solution is really driven through this powertrain kit. It's a very simplified kit. It's compressed into a low, tight volumetric density for the actual battery pack itself. We're running 62 kilowatt hours today. We have an extended capability. It's highly configurable to fit most of our commercial vehicle platforms. And we run this at a MSRP of 46K with an 8-hour conversion. So really it's the economics and the low conversion time to keep the vehicles fully utilized by our fleet customers. Competitive advantages are many, but I'm going to focus in on a couple here. Number 2 is really important because the battery supply chain is really part of a big win for ZEV. We've actually got some fantastic relationships with LG and Core Power. We have battery allocations through 2030, which include multi-thousands. We're talking about thousands of vehicles we're delivering per year. And then the economics. The economics is obviously a significant part of winning deals. We have to be a part of the CFO discussion, make sure the ROI and the asset value is retained as we look to extend the life of these commercial vehicles. So it's really important to get the economics right and drive the cost down and turnaround time down to keep these assets running. Huge pipeline. The pipeline's growing. Fuel prices are on the rise. We've got some great opportunities popping up where we've gone from a lower, much lower funnel to a funnel now that's over 100,000 vehicles. So the funnel is growing every day with 810 now vehicles. I actually have close to 1,000 vehicles right now in negotiation. So this will continue to grow, and I think we're going to continue to see a lot of growth over the next 24 months. This is kind of an indication of what we expect to see with over 290,000 kits we're going to deliver over the next, say, 7 years. We're looking at about a $9.8 billion company. So huge opportunity, a lot of transformation, a lot of excitement around the market today. So this is a great time to be in the EV space. So why, and this is our team. So we have a fantastic team. We have a lot of stewards from different industries, automotive. Dr. Kanan is one of the leading scientists in battery technology and cell chemistry coming out of ASU. We have Steve Larenger, who is the executive CEO at ITT, as well as the chairman. So we've got some great stewardship behind the team. So really a fantastic opportunity to be a part of this organization. And then Don Listwin, our exec chairman, was the second in command at Cisco. UAE partners. I mean, UAE is a big part of what we're doing. So we've been working in the UAE for about 8 months now. We were at the GITEX conference. We've been supporting some work down with the Abu Dhabi ports, DP World, and we're working on a couple of unique pilots down there. And Plug and Play has been a big part of our integration back into the UAE. They've done a lot of work in Abu Dhabi. They've been fantastic in connecting us with great partners and great new customers. A lot of our customer activity right now has been driven through Plug and Play, so we're super excited about that. But really, it's the collaboration of building around the universities and understanding how we can really socialize and move this kind of EV movement through the rest of the UAE and bring these skill sets back into the localized region. So we're excited about that. Excited about moving forward quickly with these pilots and ramping up our capabilities. Look forward to more to come. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lee Rabin. I'm Senior Sales and Business Development Manager at Jungo Connectivity. And today we're going to talk about in-cabin sensing and driver monitoring. But before we do all that, I'd like to share with you some information about Jungo in general. We were formed back in 2013, so about 10 years ago. and started dealing with driver monitoring, occupancy monitoring, in-cabin sensing about 5 years ago. And the main reason for that is that there are various technologies that are currently implemented inside the car in order to save fuel, in order to do a number of things. But the actual cause of accidents still remains 95% of the time human error. So the driver is a very important pillar that is actually not handled in a holistic way. And that's exactly the problem that we're trying to attack, so to speak. There are over 1.5 million accidents each year around the world. And the reason for that sometimes could be the incorporation of technologies inside the vehicle, the use of mobile phones, the speed of life that actually causes the driver to be drowsy or sleepy while he's driving. What we provide is a software that is basically able to detect the telltale signs of a driver that is going to cause an accident. And what exactly do I mean? It's a camera-based technology. So you position a camera in a number of places. You can put it in a number of places in the windshield, only one camera, of course. And it has to abide by two rules. One, it has to capture a nice portion of the driver's face and upper body. And secondly, it should not conceal or obstruct any of the field of view or to prevent the driver from looking at the road. And what exactly is the camera looking for, or the artificial intelligence side of the camera? It's looking for indications within the driver's face and upper body to various events. An event could be heavy blinking, for instance, if he's going to fall asleep or feels drowsy. It could track the eye gaze in order to see if he's taking sneak peeks towards his mobile phone or looking at the back seat, etc. It's looking at the hand motion in order to understand whether the driver is holding an object in his hand. It could be a mobile phone, it could be a sandwich. And what actually happens is that the driver receives an alert, a beeping sound inside the car, and the event is registered in the system in order to provide driver statistics and drivers ratings, so we could focus on the training side and understand what is actually the likelihood of a driver to have an accident. So I'll give you a few examples. For instance, here's an example of a driver who is drowsy. So the blinking is becoming heavier and heavier. As you can see the bar on the left, the system triggers an event and registers it. We also follow the eye gaze of the driver in order to see where he or she is actually looking at. So we also look at the head position, but also, of course, at the pupils and eyes in order to determine whether he's looking at the road. Another feature we provide is face recognition. We're able to identify the face of the driver in order to use it for insurance purposes, anti-theft, and also to categorize the events per driver rather than per vehicle, for instance. We actually sell to two main verticals. One is the traditional before market, so tier ones and OEMs. And the second one is for the aftermarket, mainly truck fleets, bus fleets, commercial vehicles that are actually focusing on accident prevention. And for this use case, we provide a complete solution that includes the hardware side, which is actually a dual cam, so we can also have road features such as tailgating and forward collision warning. And of course, the in-cabin camera that focuses on the driver and the driver's features. What we're actually looking for is a partner in the UAE. There's a lot of potential to implement these systems in the region. So by all means, reach out and let's talk. We're looking for either telematics providers or fleets themselves that we can install the cameras in. Ping me and let's have a chat.
Hi, my name is Javier Ferrer. I'm the CEO and founder of Itrac, the supply chain cloud platform, in order to provide an end-to-end visibility and control over the critical assets. Itrac is a startup who is providing to the world an end-to-end solution to optimize the supply chains of our clients. Even we are a small company, we are covering 15 countries in Europe, US, and in Latin America, tracking more than 50 million of assets and growing quite fast for different strategic sectors like automotive, food, logistics, pharma, or others. That's why we believe that our technology will change the value chains of the world. The pain on the industry is quite simple. Due to the old technologies existing in the past, the manual processes, the silo data, or even the spreadsheets or legacy systems, the world is semi-blind. The supply chain are not looking what is happening on real time. That's why in Itrac, we solve this pain, locating and measuring critical assets and even people on real time anywhere. That's why our visibility across the value chain provides so many data. If you see what is happening in existing real clients worldwide, even with colors or smart insights, we have total and intelligent visibility, as lean manufacturers says, in order to track and tracing tomatoes, vessels, racks, pallets, or people to save their lives on real time. We do that with a one and unique platform who creates and transforms data into competitive intelligence and insights for decision making. That's why our users are using via laptop, mobile, or desktop the technology that has three main areas: the hardware, the infrastructure or the sensors, IoT devices, the core, where the AI or the machine learning, cloud and edge computing transform data into magic, into insights, and the non-code platform as a service to use this data. Just to conclude the product, our product is a suite of track and trace tools with these three different modules useful for the clients. The solution gives you from field to the fork, that is sales in the food sector, visibility and tracking in the vessels, in the field, in the cities, in the factories. For us, something super important is the security and cybersecurity of the technology, from the hardware part, from the connectivity or wireless connectivity part, from the software part. Because if not, the technology is not so safety for real use cases. Other important area that we are covering in our technology is the API interoperability or the connectivity of our product with third-party product. That's why clients like Coca-Cola, Ford Motor Company, or others are using our technology worldwide. Our business model is quite simple. We are doing a self-service technology as a service, a managed service, and platform as a service directly to the clients and through partners. And why? Because we have different competitive advantages, some according to robustness and profitability or cost effectiveness, and others according to agility and interoperability. We are still a small team from more than 40 engineers in the company, and American and European private capital in our cap table. And our go-to-market is actually in Europe, in US, and in LATAM, directly to different sectors and affinity partners like Entity Data, Deloitte, Plug and Place, or others who are helping us a lot. But we want to thank also Plug and Play, who are helping us worldwide because they are an international and innovation entity who approach us to our corporates or to their corporates to digitalize and improve the world. We believe that Abu Dhabi for us could be like the El Dorado, a super huge investment and innovation hub opportunity to grow and help companies like Mubadala, Etisalat, or others to be more digitalized. Thank you very much for your time and attendance. It's a pleasure to share more information with you too. Have a great day.
Another wonderful group of startups. If you need your vehicles electrified, or need a cabin monitoring system, or real-time supply chain updates, you know where to go. Next up, we have our Abu Dhabi Investment Office Fireside Chat.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a wonderful day today, May 11th, a day which everyone was anticipating to bring in here a great fireside chat today from Adio and Plug and Play, together catalyzing the progress of Abu Dhabi ecosystem to bring in the investment and the investment attraction globally. And in forefront is none other than Saud Mohammed Al Hosni, the Director of Investor Care. And she is here today from representing Abu Dhabi Investment Office. And in fireside chat with me, Sandhya Demello from Khalij Times, who has taken a great interest to understand UAE as a market which evolves into a great investment hub, not only to regional forces, but to get international forces to make a great impact as to how UAE has evolved into a beautiful center of bringing disruption and legacy on one balance. And in forefront, as Saud has been handling this, today she is here with us for a great fireside chat to explain to us her role, her challenges, her achievements, her opportunities, and how she has been dealing with this, not only with the regional forces, but global investors who are looking at making Abu Dhabi the global forefront investment destination. Welcome to this fireside chat, Saud. How are you doing today?
Hi, good morning, Sandhya. Thank you so much. It gives me a pleasure to be here with you today. And thank you for all the organizers and putting this amazing fire chat today and to be here with you.
Right. Without wasting much of our time, Saud, let me inform you that as we are aware that lots and lots of people were anticipating for this fireside chat and are expecting a lot of insights from you, because based on your answers and responses, many people are going to be looking at Abu Dhabi as to what is in store for them, and you are going to be catalyzing that for the future investors. And hence, I'm going to kick off my first question to you today. Like, what are some innovation ecosystem elements that Adio considers, for example, talent, sectors, capital, collaboration, or opportunities? What are the combination of all this that brings into an innovative ecosystem that Abu Dhabi represents to its investors?
Thank you for this great question, Sandhya. So Abu Dhabi welcomes companies and investors from all sides and sizes and backgrounds, whether they're startups, SMEs. We are sector agnostic, and we like to support investors to have Abu Dhabi as their home. Abu Dhabi has nurtured an ecosystem that makes the Emirate a great place to do business. Some of the core elements include strength of support, ecosystem partners similar to Hub 71, Abu Dhabi Global Market, 2454, and other free zones that works together to support those ecosystems and startups. For example, in ADGM, it's more focused on the financial companies. In 2454, it's more focused on the media companies. And for example, in Masdar, it focuses more on innovation, tech, and renewable energy companies, and so on. Another important point is the talent. So basically, Abu Dhabi has a deep competitive talent pool that we continue to grow by nurturing our people and attracting global talent. So we have more than 200 nationalities that resides in Abu Dhabi. And there are many opportunities that exist for companies' innovation-focused areas supported by established infrastructure and government incentive support.
Right. That's really indeed insightful, Saud, from you. What are all some of the Adio's initiatives, and how are they supporting the innovative ecosystem? That's because what I have discovered, Saud, is that more and more disruption is evolving, and obviously UAE has been at the forefront. So could you explain to us some of the Adio's initiatives also in this as to how they're supporting it?
Sure. So basically, Abu Dhabi Investment Office role is to set up companies for the long-term success and to help them understand the opportunities that Abu Dhabi can offer as a whole. Our investor care team that I proudly lead within Abu Dhabi Investment Office helps companies from A to Z to jump into the right innovation ecosystem. We connect them to the right stakeholders in Abu Dhabi and bring together the right partners to help them grow and expand. We're here to support them to expand within the ecosystem and to find the best way that suits them and suits their businesses, services, and activities. Through the innovation program that Abu Dhabi Investment Office supports, we support eligible companies in high growth areas with incentives that enables them to expand to Abu Dhabi and leverage sectorial opportunities. If you have seen from the past year till this year, we have supported more than around 35 companies that came from different sectors, including agriculture technology, healthcare and biopharma, ICT, financial technology, and tourism. And this is how the program works within Abu Dhabi Investment Office.
Right. Indeed, insightful again. So I also would want to understand that with foreign investors, especially the venture capital firms, are increasingly interested in the MENA region. What effect has having the right ecosystem played in this? How can we continue to attract big name investors to Abu Dhabi? So I also want to add here something, that being a journalist and somebody who has covered ecosystem so strongly, I really feel proud when all big global names, they're opening operations here. So how is your role as a director of this, and how did you manage all this?
Sure. So let me tell you more about it. So basically, you have seen that most of the headquarters have chosen to have Abu Dhabi as their base. First of all, put in mind that there is zero income tax, which is very relevant for investors.
True.
Second of all, with 100% law, it allows investors to own 100% whether they want to be in a free zone or an onshore company, which means then you run your business 100% without having these complications in the ownership partnership part.
Right.
Third of all, we as a team, what we do is we meet the investor. We evaluate his case. If he fits the ecosystem, we keep him with us. We see if he fits our innovation program. And if not, then we send him back to the ecosystem and help him support and find the best partners and funds through the ecosystem and the biggest player. As you may know also, Sandia, Abu Dhabi hosts the largest, biggest wealth funds in the world. Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, you have Mubadala and Abu Dhabi ADQ, not forgetting the family offices that also resides in the Emirate of Abu Dhabi. So, to attract the funders, we must continue to nurture the funders. Abu Dhabi innovation ecosystem played a huge role into this development and helping entrepreneurs. And ADI program with Plug and Play is helping companies to establish in Abu Dhabi as an innovation hub at this stage.
Wonderful. What would you say our foreign investors are looking for in local startups, basically? And would you also advise how startups could, pull up their socks or would want to offer the best to the investors? If people are looking today, then I think quality is at forefront south. So maybe you can probably answer this question as to what they are looking for, but also I would like to understand what is your advisor for startups so that they come up to the global scale and global standard.
Sure. So, investors globally look always for different attributes in startups, business plan, and founding team. This is the norm.
Yeah.
But what sets Abu Dhabi apart for foreign investors is the market potential. The Arab region provides huge untapped opportunity as there is young, ambitious population. And my advice to them is that, the competition is very high. Everyone wants to be in Abu Dhabi and in the region. So please jump in. Let's help you and support you to have Abu Dhabi as your home. And we have all the enablers and incentives to have you come Abu Dhabi, get based here, and work in this region by having Abu Dhabi as your home.
All right. So looking at Expo 2020, which left a legacy behind with the beautiful disruption now that's coming on the scale, how do you think this will help to bolster global businesses to the nation? Any insights you would like to share?
Thank you so much for the question, Sandia. Expo has been an amazing event. It reached a great amount of attendees. We have participated with a lot of delegations from countries that we haven't been, or we were planning to visit, or we were planning to work with. So it has been a great networking event for investors, for visitors, for travelers to come and to have everywhere and everyone in the same place. So as they said, you know, we don't go to the world, we bring the world to us. So the UAE has already established itself as a hub for innovation and a champion for sustainability. And really what Expo had did, it cement the positioning and bring it to a wider audience. Right. The message we have is we are open for businesses and ready to welcome entrepreneurs, startups, SMEs, and companies to the UAE and to Abu Dhabi. And we assure you that we'll be happy to support you from A to Z in the whole processes and procedures to expand into the Emirate.
Right. So I would like to take the opportunity also in this fireside chat to give a little message from you to women entrepreneurs, the women-led startups. That would be really nice and kind of you if you could encourage women-led startups to come to Adio and Plug and Play and, you know, evolve the Abu Dhabi as a nation which supports women and their missions ahead. So 2 lines from you for women entrepreneurs, please.
So Sandhya, a lot of the men that will be in this call and attending this session are going to be so jealous that you're trying to make me just support women instead of men. So let me just say that one day I was a female entrepreneur, and entrepreneurship, whether it's a man or a woman, is a great position. Taking the risk, supporting supporting the ecosystem, you know, achieving what you dream of, trying to achieve what you want to work for, and bring something that is special to the market is really an achievement. My advice to all entrepreneurs, whether they're females or male, is that, you know, follow your dreams, take the risks, come to Abu Dhabi. We're here to support you. We're here to advise you. We're here to hold your hands and explain to you the ecosystem, introduce you to the right stakeholders, and help you with your expansion plan for the region.
That was indeed assuring. Thank you so much for the opportunity that the College Times got today, South, to not only interact with you, but to have an honor with Adio and Plug and Play. And I just can't begin to thank all the 3 parties here for giving both you and me opportunity to cross our paths here. Hope we shall meet again for the next interview again. Thank you, Plug and Play. Thank you, Adio, for this wonderful fireside chat. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Sandhya. And we are here to support and assist everyone. After the session, the team from Plug and Play is going to share my contact details for you. Feel free to reach out to me anytime. And in any time zone, we are available to support you and looking forward to working and welcoming you to Abu Dhabi. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, time really flies when you're having fun. I hope you have enjoyed the day as much as we have, hearing industry leaders giving their thoughts on innovation and hearing about some of the most advanced technologies being developed today to solve the world's biggest challenges. Please make sure to not go anywhere, as we have the networking session after. But for now, let's hear our closing remarks from Plug and Play GCC's director, Babak Ahmadzadeh.
Dear partners, founders, innovators, and friends, hello and thank you for taking part in our first Industry 4.0 Demo Day. My name is Babak. I'm the director at Plug and Play Abu Dhabi. I hope you enjoyed today's insights and tech showcases as much as I did. I'd like to give a special thanks to our speakers who exemplify what it takes to drive innovation and collaboration in our growing dynamic tech ecosystem here in Abu Dhabi and the UAE. Reflective, resilient, bold, and positive leadership. And of course, I can't extend enough gratitude to our cohort of exceptional tech innovators that present today. While it is clear to see that their technologies have huge potential, especially in our local market, we have to acknowledge the extraordinary people behind them. 4 founding teams from 4 countries with 7 incredible growth stories in their respective local markets took the leap of faith to trust us and our ecosystem to help them find real business opportunities and explore establishing a regional beachfront for their growth right here in Abu Dhabi and the UAE. But of course, this is just the start of their exciting growth journey here in this region. Plug and Play Abu Dhabi and all of us here in this ecosystem owe it to them to do whatever we can to continue enabling their market exploration and growth ambitions. as their success will not only create real industrial and economic transformation in the short run, but they will pave the way for other foreign and homegrown founders for decades to come. I wholeheartedly believe that the UAE and the MENA region is the most exciting place to start and scale a startup right now. Plug and Play Abu Dhabi, in essence, is a startup that began here only 4 years ago. So if you'd allow me to share our short story with you and why we are more excited about the future here than ever before. With the trust and support of Abu Dhabi Global Markets, who visited us in Silicon Valley back in 2017, we both started with a bold and simple vision, creating the most accessible B2B marketplace for startups across the world. And like any startup, we both started with certain hypotheses and an MVP. And in our case, an MVP is a minimal viable program, where we gathered exceptional fintech founders and forward-thinking banking partners to explore and execute collaborative opportunities in the form of proof of concepts, pilots, white label solution, investment opportunities, and much, much more. Now, did all the startups and corporate partners get everything that they wanted in that first 3-month accelerator program? Of course not. But the incredible learnings and support and positivity that has driven us forward year after year in this ocean of opportunity to make a real impact has been incredible. To put it into perspective, beyond our standard non-equity scale-up accelerator programs, we have developed more than 10 specialized innovation as a service offerings, which has helped us to serve more than 120 startups, 20 corporate and government partners across the region, and grow our team from just 3 people to more than 30. And by year end, we expect to double our team and our annual venture capital investment volume to triple, inshallah. Why am I telling this story? It's to say that we have not, and probably will never, have it all perfectly figured out. Providing a soft landing for startups and driving corporate and government innovation will never go into autopilot. But that is the nature of innovation and transformation. And above all, the real impact dividends that we are seeing with our beloved partners, their innovation champions, and our alumni startups has seen exceptional growth. And we know we are only scratching the surface of unlocking the opportunities. Demo days are typically the final showcase and celebration of any accelerator or incubator. But for all of us, it should be the greatest opportunity to reflect on how far we have come and how much further we have to go as a collaborative tech ecosystem. Plug and Play Abu Dhabi and our first Industry 4.0 cohort is just part of the bigger machine that is attracting and nurturing tech solutions and talent of our future. And if each of us stay resilient and open-minded, there is no limit to what we can do together. Because the seeds we sow each day will yield us forests in the future. Moving away from the fun and fluffy metaphors, let us give a real example. With one of our first cohort, corporate partners, we both believe that we could easily make exciting and valuable projects kick off with startups. Their leadership felt that they knew exactly what they wanted, and we, having serviced over 500 corporations and government entities and tens of thousands of startups being accelerated, we felt that it was going to be a home run and we could easily generate results for both parties. That wasn't the case in our first cohort. We realized that major corporate government entities and startups from abroad speak different languages. They think differently and they have different processes. So they just find it difficult to find that middle ground to form real collaborations. And startups, they need cash flow and they need time more than anything to stay alive. But with the support of our resilient corporate innovation partners and our startup founders, we focus on helping both sides adopt the right mindset, language, and processes to be more able and willing to work together beyond discovering one another. Fast forward to today, we have seen dozens of corporate startup collaboration projects start and conclude successfully, and many of our startup alumni establish regional bases here in the Emirate of Abu Dhabi. Furthermore, since 2018, our startup alumni have raised a staggering $400 million in additional funding, which is incredible. Coming now to our vertical of the day, Industry 4.0. While this is our third active open innovation platform and accelerator here in Abu Dhabi, why is this particularly exciting? In short, it can provide the most inclusive, scalable, sustainable platform for transformation and collaboration in the world right here in Abu Dhabi. Because Abu Dhabi, the UAE, and the region is so focused on major things like logistics, manufacturing, food security, energy, mobility, sustainability, all fall under Industry 4.0. Startups fundamentally need large markets to survive and scale. Therefore, an open innovation platform only works at scale. What a great opportunity we have to potentially address some of the biggest challenges of our time hand in hand across so many key sectors and potential startup tech end users. And we are just getting started. We know it can and will happen. We heard from our friend in Stuttgart, Sasha, about Startup Autobahn, the story there which began with Daimler and Mercedes in Germany, and over 5 years now becoming the biggest mobility and industry open innovation platform in the world, not just by scale, but by impacts of metrics of impact. Why can't we do even better right here in our home region? We have the market size, we have incredible youth talent, shared language, huge opportunities to leapfrog innovation breakthroughs, given that we have fewer legacy systems that can hold us back through real breakthrough corporate innovation. And Saeed started in our region, so innovation is in our DNA. Before I end, I would like to share a short African proverb with you. It takes a village to raise a child. And at Plug and Play, we believe that it takes a village to build an ecosystem and to nurture a startup. We, you and I, are part of that village. And now more than ever, it is important for all of us to continue in building our ecosystem. And finally, I'd like to give our biggest appreciation to our strategic partner, the Abu Dhabi Investment Office, and our first founding partner for Industry 4.0 platform, the Abu Dhabi Ports Group, for your trust and support in us and pioneering this bold journey. While this is the end of our Industry 4.0 Demo Day, we would like to invite you to, all of you, to take part in our virtual networking area to meet our fellow startups, partners, innovators, and friends. See you in a moment.